from various locations tangential to Hollywood, all of which exist at particular heights. It's time once again for the long shot. Tonight's episode, milk or sour cream, or milk or sour cream. And now please welcome the host of the long shot, Sean Conroy. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good noon, good day, good tea time, good dusk, good desk. Welcome to The Long Shot. It is a podcast. I'm your host. My name is Sean Conroy. With me today on the show, the man with the oral fixation, Joe Wagner, is here, lighting up to start the show. Yes.
Blowing smoke right at the camera because a listener said, please don't blow smoke in my face. So there you go.
You should always do exactly the opposite of what people tell
Correct. You. Don't listen to the fans.
We're not a fan service show.
We don't pander.
Also here, the owner of the greatest curtains in the history of the world, Amber Kenny, is here.
Hello. Were you doing a spelling joke with the two tea times, like golf and
I wouldn't say it was a joke. I would say it was a. I tried with my voice to make a distinction between the two, and I guess maybe it worked a little bit.
I think it was a homophone.
It was a homophobic reference to a variety of things.
A homophone.
Tea is a very gay substance, and golf is a very gay game. So
it was a consideration, a word consideration.
A homonym?
A homonym. I think it was a homonymic consideration that you were making. Yes.
But thank you for picking up on that, Amber. I was trying to make a distinction between those two things.
But
I picked
which
up
one
on
was which? Just actor secret. Which one?
You tell me which one was which.
Okay. I think you started golf and then you went to drink.
Damn it. It was the other way around.
Oh, no.
That's what I was going to say. Because I thought...
Of course you would say that now.
No, Sean, that's exactly what I thought. Because I thought Sean will think tea first. And then he's immediately going to stop in his head and go, but there is another kind of tea.
Right. No, I'm a fan of the drink. And the golf thing always comes in second.
Now I know. I live, I learn.
But no. I mean, I feel like I need to work on my pronunciations because I feel like that should have been evident. You know?
like doing Shakespeare. We should be able to get the meaning just from the words.
Right.
I believe you said both of them correctly, Sean. Just for the record.
Yeah, you pronounced them right.
Can we roll the tape?
I was a theater major, not to brag. And I had a Russian acting teacher who, when she was teaching us Shakespeare, she was trying to say that you are supposed to say two. I may have even already said this on the podcast before. It's like the immediate thing I think of.
Everything you've said so far, you've said already in the podcast, but I think this particular story you have not told before.
Okay. So she was trying to illustrate how you emphasize two separate ideas in a sentence, but her example, again, I think it was like something was lost in translation in her culture, but she was like, do you want milk or sour cream? And it makes me laugh. I'm like, what setting would I want either of those?
But also, like, how is that telling you anything?
Well, I think that was her bad example of, like, you're giving them the same emphasis. Like, one should be positive and one should be negative, or one should be. And all I know is the phrase "milk and sour cream" is like forever burned in my head.
So, like, do you want milk?
Mm-hmm. Or sour cream. Right. Which is a little indicaty-y, but I guess you got to start somewhere.
Do you want milk or sour cream?
Yeah.
Oh, right. It could go positive or more positive.
Right.
And what if I just am like, no, I don't want either.
Then I go back to the shtetl where I come from.
Then, Amber, you go, no, And then you go, no. No.
Can I tell you another one like that that's etched in my mind forever? It's from Shakespeare. And it's the phrase, "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad." And we had a teacher that you just take that sentence and emphasize a different word, and it completely changes the meaning. So it's like, "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad." Or "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad." Or "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad." Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's one that runs through my head a lot. I've got problems. How
In
you guys
sooth,
doing?
I know not why I am milk or sour cream.
Yeah.
Amber just recreated every casting room in Los Angeles before the pandemic. That's just what, if it's a cliche, but it's true. If you've never been in one of those, it's just actors walking around rehearsing 2 lines of copy for a commercial and trying to figure out what the perfect inflection
Well,
is.
and how they could make it, different from everyone else. Yeah. In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. In sooth, I know not why I am so sad.
We
Anyway.
want you to focus on how much you sow.
I'm
really
illustrating
emphasize
how I
the
am not
soul.
that great of an actor. That's what I'm illustrating.
In sooth, I know not why I am so sad.
No. I actually, for the record, I know why I'm sad.
Okay, let's.
In sooth?
I wish I were in more sooth, way more sooth, but no, very little sooth to be found.
Wow.
So sooth is an interesting word because there is the expression forsooth, which means you're a fucking idiot. And then there's also soothsayers, like people who
Tell the
what does a
truth.
soothsayer do? Tell the truth? No.
And, like, the future.
The future, yeah. So I don't know what that word means.
Well, it says here that the definition of sooth
This is so off the
it's-
rails, and I
it's-
love it so much.
is truth. It's truth, at least according to the
That's how
Oxford
I understood it.
Dictionary.
What does forsooth mean?
All right, forsooth.
And I'm saying forsooth, not forsooth.
Yes, forsooth, which is one word, is indeed, often used ironically to express surprise or.
It's like old timey, duh.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Yeah. Forsooth, yeah.
Forsooth. Forsooth, I know not why I am so sad. Perhaps it is because I cannot decide between milk and sour cream.
Well, that's been our show, everybody.
Amber, maybe that's the way to say it. You got to go like forsooth. I know.
It's
not why
not
I'm so sad.
forsooth. It's in sooth.
Oh shit! Sorry.
What they're saying is,
Can I take it again?
the phrase is like, to tell the truth, I don't know why I'm so sad.
Right.
But also,
Right, tell the truth.
he does.
If I say sooth, do I say in sooth or forsooth? And were I to say forsooth, would I then be a soothsayer? Or would in sooth I not be saying sooth?
Wow.
Forsooth.
So soothsayer and truthsayer are basically the same thing, but I would say in my mind, soothsayer sounds. Maybe because I'm just thinking of soothing. A soothsayer to me would be someone who might say it in a more agreeable way than a truthsayer.
I think, and I could be wrong, and Sean will correct me as soon as possible. I think like the phrase soothsayer means truth teller, but the inherent meaning is that you're telling future truth. You're seeing something the truth that other people can't see.
Oh, okay.
You are clearly not a soothsayer because you told what you thought was a future truth, which was that I would correct you, and I did not.
Oh, wow.
So,
Great.
all right. Well, now that we've explored Shakespeare,
Can we put that on our LoShoPo sizzle reel when we send this out to the
That's me.
boy, these guys really know their stuff. They
big
really know
networks?
their stuff.
Big
We
podcast
basically
network.
did 15 minutes of like, what do words mean, man?
Yeah.
Are we still on All Things Comedy, by the way?
Yes. We should be on all
Okay.
things Shakespeare.
Because that definitely goes to the All Things Comedy demographic.
He does
and
comedies, Shakespeare.
Oh, well, I'm
Yes.
just saying.
And
I'm
it's
just
all
saying,
things, so that has to include Shakespeare's comedies.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Analysis of dialogue. Great
Sooth,
writing.
sooth, sister, sooth.
Sooth. Yeah, let's just scream sooth at each other when we agree now.
LoShoPo committed to the sooth.
She's telling the sooth.
And nothing but the sooth.
Yeah.
So if you were
promise to tell the whole sooth.
could you say to someone, "Be soothful with me"?
But it sounds like you've got a speech impediment. Like
Or
soothful.
that you want a back massage.
Well, honestly,
All right. Well, let's find out what's been going on. We know that Jamie is not here. We're not going to get into what that's about, but
hopefully we'll hear about it next time.
right. So let's start today with Joe. Joe, tell us what's the latest? What's happening?
Hi, Joe.
What's the buzz?
Amber.
And
Hi, Aaron.
please tell us the suit.
And nothing but the suit. Hi, LoShoPo listeners.
Take your time, though. Take your time before you get to anything.
Now you're sucking up to them when you started off by antagonizing them.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, this has been a very tough week in Los Angeles. This is the worst week yet. We are coming up on.
This is for you or for the city of Los Angeles?
I'm talking about the city of Los Angeles. We are, by many reports and some interpretations, we are currently the epicenter of COVID. Some would say
number one, baby,
in the world.
I think, yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah. And so that's something that anyone in Los Angeles, and now Sean is back in Los Angeles. For any listeners who aren't watching the video, Sean is back.
Let him talk about that.
I'm just saying.
I'm back in Los Angeles. Thank you. Good night.
Sean's back with us. Sean's back with us to experience what everyone in LA is experiencing right now, which is sadness, dread, paranoia, fear, maybe a flicker of hope. They did start vaccinating frontline workers in Los Angeles. By the way, have you guys gotten your vaccine yet?
I'm going to be last, like for sure.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm sure you get it.
I am not going to be last, but I am 286,495,434th.
Do you have to get like a deli number?
Yes. Did you pick that?
No. And like it goes past your number. Like I called that number 5 minutes ago. Shit.
Back to the end of the line. So I think an interesting thing about restarting our podcast during a pandemic is that as we've always started the show with a checking in, segment, that for me personally, I always found it challenging to hope to have something happen during the week, being out and about around people, some kind of story, something that I could.
Little did you know how easy you had it.
This is very, very challenging because I've been inside since we last spoke. I have only gone out once. This is one of those cases right now. The situation that we're living through. It's just not sensible, smart. It's not safe to really go out any more than you should absolutely have to. And I mean, I thought it was. I think we've all been going, up and down in the waves of trying to be as careful as we can and not
Sooth, brother. Sooth.
Yeah, and not getting too hopeless feeling. But this what we're going through right now is, some have compared it to the terrible, terrible spring that New York City went to. It does kind of feel like we're about to go through that ourselves, and I am a little nervous because I have yet not reached that efficiency stage of being able to get enough food in the house for like a week or 2 weeks.
You're talking about meal planning.
I'm talking about, yes, just literal sustenance food to eat during the day. And I'm now that much more nervous. I had been going out to the store across the street maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. And that feels even more nerve-wracking to me now. Oh, and so, and
that was a food store?
That was a mini mart that where I would buy my essentials: loaf of bread, eggs, cereal, milk, dish. Oh, in case anyone's been following along, I got the dishwashing soap. I got the dish soap. I also got bar soap for Sean.
Thank you for dropping that off, by the way. I appreciate it. You didn't have to do that.
No, I didn't actually get it for Sean, but I got my bar soap. He just likes when I say bar soap. And but I'm, I ordered food last night and I try to stretch that out, but I'm also just dealing with what I think everyone has to deal with at this point, which is that if I order something and I deliver, I'm someone who's asking someone else to be out and to be doing business while this is happening, while we're having the biggest numbers we've ever had in Los Angeles with COVID. It's approximately 1 in 20 people in Los Angeles have had COVID at this point. When we started the podcast, by the way,
I can't believe that that's correct. I don't believe that.
Well, I actually think it's probably a little higher because every number statistic you see is based on, I think, tests that have been given, unless it's like a projection, but there's so many more people.
Can we have one of the researchers check on 1 in 20? Because that seems high to me.
How many researchers do you have in your apartment?
I know there's one right there. There's one over there.
That's not safe.
Sean is now starting to talk to the objects in his apartment. I know, Sean, it's kind of staggering to think, but I did remember when we started this podcast about a month ago, I think one of us, I think both you and I said we were at like 1 in 150 or something. And within a month, that's been adjusted to 1 in 20. So we've had a massive, massive, massive spike in Los Angeles. And I just,
I only know 19 people and none of them have had it. So, so far I feel like it might not be real.
Yeah, glass half full, right? Glass half full of COVID. I was thinking about today, and I was thinking about how I know we always have a great time talking and making each other laugh, but
speak for yourself.
When thanks for hanging in there, Sean, all these years. We appreciate it. But it's like I don't
going
know
to the dentist.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we'll get into that when all right, go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys, but I just have not, when I come to the recordings, I want to be in a conversational, jovial, talkative mood because that's what our podcast is. But and not saying that's all it is. Obviously, we've talked about everything. But right now, this past week, it was just as for everybody, as who's been going through it in whatever way they are, it's just been a toll. It's just it's very, very sad right now. It's hard. I think we're all trying to figure out how much we can compartmentalize.
Right.
And this has been and that's my own and then you have to make it relative. That's my only problem is how to deal with this mentally. I can't even begin to imagine what it's like to actually physically be dealing with the problem. Frontline doctors, nurses. Our ICU capacity in Los Angeles is basically done. Yeah,
I
it's
heard
down
1
to-
out of 20 hospital beds is full at this point.
Oh, that's
It's more
not so
than that,
bad.
my friend. It's more than that. We're at 100% capacity.
And anyway, so I'm
No,
just I'm drinking my coffee, and I'm just
you're
happy
gonna
to
be
be
up
here
all
with
night.
you. I'm happy with you guys. Yeah, my beverage
Coffee
today is-
time. Coffee
it's just-
time. Not the same as tea time.
It's coffee that my mom and my aunt sent to me.
Oh, that's nice.
This, you know what? Let me put a positives. No more dark shit.
No,
Maxwell
Joe,
What the
House.
hell is that?
Maxwell House. It's
French
instant,
vanilla.
instant coffee, French vanilla. It's what my mom and my aunt drink, and they love it. And
Cuties.
they're such fans of it that they send me a box every now and then. So it kind of, I feel like, it's
You're having a cup of
us,
coffee with them.
yeah, it brings us a little closer. Anyway,
No.
go ahead. Sorry, Amber.
Joe, to commiserate or in your defense, it's something I've actually been ruminating a lot this week. Is that I've gotten self-conscious about what I've talked about on the podcast being a little bit too shallow. But I think
Lady Gaga. Love that song.
Bradley Cooper. I hope that it's obvious, but maybe it isn't. So maybe I should say it. This is a tough year. That's like the set point.
Right.
And so far on this show, I've chosen to talk about like nuggets that are different than the overall horrific shit. But I don't want people to think that I'm like, let the thing to do, just doing my nails, like everything's fine. Like I'm just choosing to highlight that.
You did do your nails though since last week.
Oh yeah, every week.
Yeah.
It's something to do.
It's something to do, and it's something, and even the smallest thing in terms of taking care of yourself or keeping yourself together is important. And I think that is actually, I mean, I think Amber, I know our listeners love us, and I don't think anyone has thought that we've in any way, minimized,
like glossed
any of
over.
this. Yeah,
or,
right.
Yeah.
But
I also don't want to wallow. It's like it's a balancing act.
It is a balancing act, and
which is my favorite part of the circus.
So
do you guys have good balance? Amber, do you have sidebar? You have good balance, I imagine, as a dancer.
Oh, I have the best balance.
Sean, would you say you're well balanced?
No, I have terrible balance. I'm very unbalanced.
I mean, in my head today, I was like, do I tell another story where I was scared crossing the street to go buy bread? Because that's all that's happened.
But that's life, yeah.
That's all that's happened to me. I went out during the middle of this week because I was down to nothing. I crossed, so now here's what I'm doing. I do a surgical mask. Then I do 2 dust masks over that too. So now I have 3 so far, 3 layers. Then I take a piece of foam. I have foam from some boxes, from some packing, and it's I put that over the masks, and I wrap that up in fabric, put that over the masks, and then I put 2 bandanas tied around my face over that. I mean, it's multiple layers.
I glued packing peanuts to my face before I put my mask on, just to like.
The foam, though, Joe, I worry. Like, I understand it's good that it is protective, but I worry that you are going to suffocate. Like, that's like putting a plastic bag over your head.
Well, I can still. I assure you, I can still breathe.
Okay, thank you for assuring me.
I haven't passed out. It's but it's foam. I guess I wish I could show it to you. I'll show it to you later. But
okay, great.
I can still breathe. I acknowledge your concern. Yes, but there have been times where I have so much over
no one
my
can hear
face
you. Yeah,
I'm like, One of the two, please.
Sir, look, I know it's a pandemic, but please get the fucking foam off your face.
So
And it must go out to, like, you must.
Oh, it's like it's
a wide profile.
Yeah.
Do you at least draw like eyes and a mouth on the front of it?
No, I mean, look,
like a smiley face?
Eyes. Guys, it's still my eyes.
I thought you were going to say, and then you put your skeleton mask over that.
Yeah, definitely.
Put a hat on, and then you put a wig on.
Let's see the fucking skeleton mask out there.
I'm not going to say that thought didn't cross my mind once.
Well, at this point, you want to scare people away. Like, yeah, don't be 6 feet away, close to me.
Not 6.
In sooth, I know not what I say.
In truth, I know not why I am not 6 feet away.
When I described the bandana, and then every time I go out, I wear the same hoodie, and I put the hoodie up. And when I described the bandana and the hoodie to my aunt, she
sent you coffee.
The next day,
she's like, "Wake up!"
She called and was like, because I was telling them, I was just sharing with them, what my daily life is like. And I'd say, when I go out, I walk very fast. I don't waste any time. I try to be as careful as I can. And all of that came together in my poor aunt's mind to think that because of the way I looked with the bandana and the hood and walking very fast, that someone might think that I was a thief. And so she was like, maybe don't walk so fast.
Aww.
Try to be careful that you don't get
don't be as shifty-eyed.
Also, don't carry that burlap sack with the dollar signs on it. Like, don't.
And the black
and don't walk
white
like this.
The black and white striped shirt is not helping.
Right.
That also makes me think of, like, imagine, I don't know how this would work, but there's got to be a sketch in it somewhere where, like, in the Old West, they hear that there's something going around, so they need extra masks, but they're also robbing a bank. So they put on too many bandanas, and then they go into the bank, and they're like, I guess it's the same as the Woody Allen sketch where his printing is bad, or the thing I think it says "gub," and
the best part is when they call somebody over.
Yeah,
look at it. Right. So I went out this week. I'm fully masked up, and I'm like, I'm gonna go. My thing every time I go out, because as I've described this mini mart that I go to as very narrow and very small, is that I go out
with your masks. You're probably taking up the whole building.
All right, Amber.
That's not cool.
It's not. All right. Okay. And
see, when I go out, I try to put my head in a vice and just make it very
so considerate.
Narrow. I mean, I still mask up, but it's very narrow.
It's just a little mask.
What if I just took the hoodie and put it over my head and zipped it up to there? Right? I mean, I could do but I can't see. Or I could do two little eye holes in the hoodie. I always go out first, and I go to across the street, and I look into the store first. Mm. If I see more than 2 people, I don't go in the store.
Smart.
I just don't go in. And so every time I go out, it's a matter of chance, because I don't know what the circumstances are going to be. So I went out, I look.
By the way, that's true in general, not even during pandemic times. Like every time you go out, it's a matter of chance, because you don't know what the circumstances are going to be. It's just pointed up more in a situation like this.
Wow.
I'm just saying, we get to insights on this show.
I heard someone say this, and it kind of
Sooth.
It kind of blew my mind, but I guess somebody's therapist on Twitter, somebody wrote that somebody's therapist said that we actually have the same amount of lack of control of what happens in our life as we always have. It's just more abundantly clear. Like it's just more evident. But like,
that's a more articulate way of saying what I was saying, but you're absolutely right. Yeah.
That's why I said it.
In sooth, I know not why I am not articulate.
But like wow, this is going to sound really dark, and but like every day you could die, every day something horrible could happen to you. You can't control how other people are reacting to a pandemic. You can only control how you react to anything, and that's always the truth. It just feels heightened now.
There's actually, I mean, that is like the essence of some parts of Stoic philosophy. It's like you go, today you could die, so make it good, you know? Right. And that's true any day, but you're right. Now it's like, oh no, you really could.
Right,
no,
right.
Really, like more than usual.
Right.
When people say ignorance is bliss,
this is what they're talking about.
This is what they're talking. I think it's the most general 99.999% of people. You go out and you go about your day and your business, and it's just you don't think of that. You don't think of those things. Now everyone, but it's there. But it's not like it's not there. It's you're just not thinking about it. Now, I agree. I mean, I agree, Amber. It is the same idea of possible jeopardy, but with everything that we're taking in, it just feels so much more specific. Now.
I know. I'm not disagreeing.
Right. No. Right.
I agree with you.
And you know
Can
what?
We not do this on the show?
Come on, we got to get through this together.
Speaking of possible jeopardy, too bad Trebek died before the end of this thing.
Did you see Andy Wood won a bunch?
Yeah. Friend of the show. Cool. Has he been on the show?
I don't think so.
But I will say what Sean just said about a Stoic philosophy. I'm going to keep that in mind because I think that might be the only way that might be the best way for me to try to function for the next month. Because this week has been the week where I have felt most paralyzed. And that's just not going to work. I mean, I can't. Right. You can't be like that. You cannot.
No, that's the other part of that whole thing is like, yeah, today you could die. So why are you waiting to do all the things when this could be it? How do you want to go out? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to have lived your life as opposed to, oh shit, you know?
And then to that, I've mentioned this already on the show a couple weeks ago, but I'm trying to take all that energy, Sean, of like, I got to live, right? Whatever we got to do. I mean, Amber, it's literally, whether it's painting nails or for me right now, trying to write a script, like trying to conceive of a show. I'm working on it with a friend. We've met every day for 2 weeks.
Wonderful. Like, because also,
are you guys in the same pod? You're meeting every day. I mean,
no. Facebook. Yeah.
Because I keep saying this to all of my nearest and dearest friends, and I think I keep saying it because I'm trying desperately to internalize it myself. But like, we can't underestimate the fact that we are living through now a 10-month long collective trauma, and we need to be kind to each other and to our fucking selves. Like just surviving is enough. Like, you're enough. Everyone, we all are coping in different ways, and being creative might be a coping way, but also I want to make sure that you're not like beating yourself up for not being productive enough. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, because we can only do what we can do.
And I'll tell you, Amber, the last 2 weeks,
how many pages of the script do you have so far?
All right, Sean, come on.
Went the other way with that.
No, but Amber, the great thing is that for the last 2 weeks, I have felt more creatively productive than I have in months. And
great.
And it's
so
really
you're not
been
as paralyzed as you were saying. Like, some people would be, how you were saying you were paralyzed with the fear. That might extend even to your creative internal life. And so that's great that that's not the truth for you.
And you know, when you were saying what you can do is enough, Amber, my friend and I, we talked over Facebook 2 hours a day from 4 to 6, or sometimes 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
That's what we do, Sean.
Sean's like, wait,
that's true.
You guys
4 to 6.
Wait,
yeah.
Wait. Sean's like, you guys have a point to it.
You're like, no.
By the way, I'm almost finished with my long shot pilot.
We get a cut, right?
And you're all recast.
Yeah, no, I have other people playing
Hotter,
you.
sexier, younger.
Of course. Right. Sean's already gone out to Bert Kreischer. Yeah, no, I get it. All right, Sean. The thing so about being enough is that for those 2 hours, I feel productive. I feel creative. I feel purposeful. I feel like I'm doing what I.
And you're probably not thinking about the scary things.
Right.
It's an escape.
And then the balance is for the rest of the day.
Nada, baby.
Nada. Goose eggs, baby. I just become, it's just either a sleeping, eating, or watching being. And so thank goodness for the past 2 weeks that from 4 to 6, my brain turns on. I don't think about these things, and I think about a future. And we've talked about that already too. It's like trying to think of something ahead. And in my mind already, I'm like, we will have a first draft of this script by the end of, I would say by mid-February. And in my mind,
that is very soon.
Take your time.
I think we can do that. And I'm just like, in my head now, I'm just like, that mid-February marker is where I'm pointed at. And
are there any roles I could read for? Because like that in Sooth stuff, like I could do better than what I showed at the beginning.
There is a
Amber, you have at least a callback.
Oh, wow.
I swear, I promise you.
I think this is, you guys are hitting it right, because this is a fucking weird time. And there's an element of like, well, we're just supposed to live our lives, but it's impossible right now, Yeah. And it reminds me of one of my favorite, probably my favorite show, The Wire, where one of the guys goes to jail and they talk about how you only ever spend 2 days in jail, the day you go in and the day you come out, and everything else is nothing. And it feels like we're in that right now.
We're in the nothing.
The day this started and the day it ends, and you just have to let go of the rest of it, because it's not something you can have control over.
And that's why, and if there's anything in the day, one thing, and like I've mentioned it too, the phone call that I have with my family has been a great lifeline. Just this week, we started it's a Latin American Catholic tradition. All countries have slightly different versions, but we pray for 9 nights up until Christmas Eve. And it's a series of prayers and a series of Christmas carols, Colombian Christmas carols.
I love it.
I believe this is called Hanukkah, right?
This is called a novena. A novena.
I don't think so.
And
but go on, please.
I was about to say, Sean, if I didn't comb my hair back, my hair is long enough that I have had payas-like strands falling from the sides. But the novena, we just started praying the novena on Wednesday night, and that has been in addition to just the phone call and the conversation. My mom and we're all on speakerphone singing, so it's like sometimes they're ahead. And the other day I was like, why don't we try a faster tempo? And they're like, oh, you're a director. You're a director. You tell us what to do. So it's just,
are you going to have them do any of those exercises where they scream as loud as they can and then they get real quiet and stuff like that?
I forgot about that.
Sean, it's an acting. Come on, it's an acting exercise. You got to find out where your
Joe,
top
can we
is,
not
where
do
your
the
range.
screaming again today?
Oh, by the way, one time when I was home, Shout out to the defunct Squeeze.
Squeeze.
I think I may have mentioned this on a show, but when I went home and I just started, I think I had just given my first class, and I went home and I was doing an exercise about surprise and energy. If you have to do a reveal or a big entrance or something.
Wait.
Like you're talking about, like when you're in the middle of the novena and then somebody comes in and you have to be surprised. So you.
It's funny to say like surprise and energy. I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. I meant to say, would you like some milk? Or sour cream?
You're talking about like appraisals.
I'm talking about reacting.
Yes.
The very basic acting
is reacting.
Not know it before you know it.
And to react in
I
a
knew you were
way
going to say that.
to react in a way that
is everyone okay?
that has energy and that pushes.
Sean's back in LA.
That's actually not me. That's Joe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. A lot of sirens in downtown. Not good. Anyway, I was just talking about reacting and reacting big. I was just talking about energy and big comic energy, and I turned to my aunt to illustrate this, and I scared the shit out of her, and I felt so bad. And
you're like, yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah, and I was like, that's what I'm looking at. She was like,
and you're like, you're cast.
Yeah, right. So
that's funny.
I remembered I'm not going to do that again to them, but that was fun. But just as far as getting through any day.
Back to that.
Like I'm literally focusing on even one smile, one laugh.
Oof.
If that just happens in the day, one smile,
dark,
one
bleak.
laugh.
Yeah, I feel like that's the beginning of a song in a musical that's just after
just one
our heroes.
smile.
It's like the beginning of Act 2. Yeah. It's like one smile, one laugh. If only I could see her face again.
I mean, Amber, I think maybe the difference, at least between our direct situations, is you're living with someone.
I know.
You literally have somebody else to talk to,
and so, we are going in like I am hyper.
Go ahead,
aware.
rub it in, Joe.
No, I mean Sean and I we're single and ready to meet.
Please don't.
Yeah. Hey, has anyone made a GIF? Has anyone made a GIF of us yet?
Yeah, they better.
They better.
I have some liquid feet GIFs.
Anyway.
But no, to your point, Joe, again, I am so hyper aware that in like the world right now, I am in a very lucky small minority.
Right.
The fact that I live with someone that I like that likes me, and the fact
puts you in a tiny minority.
and the fact that we both have jobs, like real talk, I feel a tremendous amount of survivor's guilt, if nothing else, like without a better way of describing it, that it's like I'm aware of how insanely privileged I currently am.
But but that's the thing. The grass is always greener, and like you have, if you are living with someone, that is a whole other set of possible annoyances, problems, whatever. It's
and for him too. Let's be honest.
The poor guy. He spoils me rotten.
We know Amber's an angel and Jeff's a monster. We know that.
No.
No. Absolutely unsooth.
Jeff, if you're okay, blink twice off camera. I think that the weird thing is, when I said one smile, one laugh, and of course we have a human reaction that's like you were saying, Amber, like that is sad if we look at it from that way. But right now, in this time and situation,
right,
I can't.
It's it's a bare minimum that you just have to meet.
I can't let myself look at it from a normal viewpoint and go, oh, that does seem, wow, that's real. It's like, no, that's right now. That's what's actually getting me through. And it's only because we are in a completely unprecedented historical life experience that none of us have gone through. And so every perspective is shifted in that way. And,
right.
And you know what, Aaron, I'm going to shout out to our producer, Aaron, who's been doing such great work, and he just had a beautiful baby. Congratulations again. But I just wanted to say, like, Aaron wrote recently that thing about how we're all trying to, keep track of time. And he mentioned that Wednesdays and Saturdays are his North Star right now. Wednesdays are when the episodes come out, and Saturdays are when we record. And I share that, and I've mentioned it before on the show, where right now, just getting to see you guys once a week. I know Saturday's coming up. I'm going to slick back my hair and make sure that nothing else is visible in the frame. That would make people very concerned for my
incriminating.
It does feel like, this show has always been fun, but it does feel like it takes on a different importance in a time like this. Just because over the course of 2 hours, I know that I will at least have
a smile,
one laugh. If only I could see their faces one more time again.
Sean, doesn't it feel a little bit like it's almost like we're getting to become fans again, in the sense that we've done so many mailbag episodes where our fans tell us, your podcast got me through.
Oh, and we
are getting ourselves through. Yeah, the show is becoming an Ouroboros. We're eating ourselves.
You guys are delicious.
French vanilla.
Sean, do we literally have the same mug?
No, not even close.
Absolutely not. No, not the same color. Don't have the rim at the top. Different direction. My handle faces this way. Yours faces that way.
Sean's is matte. Yours is shiny.
Okay. All right. I don't know anything.
It's a different shape. I don't know anything.
But no. To be fair,
I don't recognize Joe, shapes or colors.
But it does have. Contains liquid.
Yes, and we are wearing the same glasses. So in that sense, we are very much the same. Yes.
Well, yes. I was going to say that it's been funny for me. I don't know if you guys have this experience. I'm also a girl, so that's like another layer because we record these. But on Saturdays, it's like I work all week, which I'm also incredibly thankful for. Like, to what you were speaking to, Joe,
right.
It can be stressful, but it's like something to do all day, and it's something to not be just thinking about the state of the world.
Right.
But Saturdays, I don't have anything to do. And Jeff usually goes for a long bike ride, like hours long. So Saturdays, I just like have the apartment to myself. And I'm always like, I know I have the podcast. And I'm like, I know I have the podcast at 4. Wouldn't you know it? Every Saturday, like 5 minutes till, I'm like, I gotta get ready for the podcast. Like, I don't know how it happens. Like, you'd think I would be fine, but it's like I have too much freedom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I start
feel the same way.
I start pre-production at around 2 PM. like I know I got it. I'm gonna shower. I do last looks.
Love it.
I take a little hit. I'm just to start. In fact, last week I watched the previous episode just to be like, and here I know. Look, I know we're not here to blow smoke up our asses. This is a good show.
Don't blow smoke up my ass, Joe.
Don't blow smoke anywhere. You keep getting in trouble for that.
I know I'm not supposed to breathe into a person's anus, but I watched an episode from the week before, and I literally when the episode ended, I was like, well, that was pretty funny. That was pretty good. I like these guys. Like, I'm not one of them.
I like these guys.
Yeah, I was like, hey, this is
I like most of them.
I mean, and I even did the thing where I was like walking around doing stuff while the thing is playing, and I was like, oh, this is how people
do this. My favorite is when, because I don't listen to the whole episode, but I'll dip in.
Right.
And I like when I'm like listening to a part and I
anticipate what you were going to say.
Well, I unconsciously kind of say what I do say. And I'm like, wow, oh yeah, I am me. Like,
I had the same thought twice in a row. My brain still works the same way it did last week.
That's where our mental functioning is right now.
I've learned nothing in the last 7 days. My reactions are just the same.
Wait, Sean, can I say something about your setup? We've just checked in with Joe. It's been 4.5 hours. But
I'm done. I'm done. It's done. Put me out of my misery.
Something about your setup, I think it's that you have warm lighting in your apartment and then you're lit by the blue computer.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a little bit like you are photoshopped into your own apartment. Like it looks fake.
It's one of those. They're on to me. They know I'm still in Idaho.
Do you see it, Joe? Do you see what I'm talking about?
Well, I see it a little bit, but the best thing would be that Sean would be the kind of guy who'd be like, God, I need a background.
I'll go blinds.
I'll go with blinds and a door.
All the same color.
You guys know me so well.
You're still in Idaho. You're faking
I'm done.
Yeah. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break for a minute and then we'll come back and we'll get into, I'm not sure who's next, but we'll find out when we come back from our little break. We might go back to Joe.
Goodbye.
Hey everybody, this is Sean. We have restarted The Long Shot, obviously, after a year-long hiatus. Now, if you've been a fan of The Long Shot for a long time, you know that in our second year, all the way back in 2011 or 2012, our sound engineer at the time, Jorge, said that we should try to get ourselves 1,000 reviews on iTunes by the end of that year. And by the end of that year, or really by the end of 2018, by that time we had accumulated over 500 reviews. So not good, but still that was a lot. And we lost all of them when we restarted the show. So I'm hoping that you could take a couple of minutes right now and just stop by iTunes, give us a review, hopefully a positive one. But any press is good press, so feel free to say what you really feel, and we will be very grateful. And now, back to our show. We are back. You're listening to The Long Shot. It is a podcast. I have changed my background.
We didn't mean to make you self-conscious about your background. That wasn't...
No. I think it's good. Once every 4 weeks, I like to change my background to something different. All right, now that we've seen Shakespeare,
hey, fans out there, just know in a month, new background coming in for Sean Conroy.
Wait, does Shakespeare always live there? No.
No. He lives on the mantle. Shakespeare was here.
It's just the top of his head.
Yeah. By the way, I have people that do this when I teach class for some reason. I don't understand it, but I guess they must not have their own image up on their Zoom, but so their Zoom call will be like this. And I find that so distracting. I'm like, Sean, what is wrong with you?
Wasn't it your family? Didn't you post something once that was like, well, at least I know that the ceiling is doing
my parents are the worst. They are just the worst at that. I said that to them. My mom last night, I forget, or maybe it was 2 days ago. I don't know. I'm so confused on time right now, but they literally answer. My dad will answer. First of all, they have a thing on their TV that is a Facebook portal that they used for maybe the first month or two, I would call them on Facebook, and then I could see both of them sitting on the couch,
Right. Right.
But for some reason, and my brother tried to explain it to me, but I guess they who knows what the fuck they did, but they can't figure out how to fix it.
It was like that. It was literally like that, what you posted.
Well, yeah. No, but what happens is my dad will answer the phone. He'll be like, hello? Dad, I'm on FaceTime. Then he'll be like, oh, okay. And then he'll put it down on the table like this. And then for the rest of the conversation, they're both sitting nearby, but I'm just looking at the ceiling. So I think it was last night. Somehow they touched something and the picture went off. So it was just voices. My mom was like, "Oh wait, let me turn the camera back."
Like, what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I want to make sure your ceiling continues to look good. So then she adjusted it so I could see my father. But it's just funny to me that it's been 10 months and they still can't process it.
Because you posted that months ago.
Yeah. It's been an ongoing.
And I saw it and I laughed because it was hilarious. Because it truly was a shot of their ceiling.
It's not an exaggeration. It literally is just the ceiling, like a light, basically.
And Sean, I knew that it was something that I could explain to my mom and aunt, and they would get it. And they did, and they laughed. And you know what? For that one day,
you got a smile.
One laugh. One laugh.
One smile, one laugh. Just a chuckle or a chortle. All I need's a giggle and a ha 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 ha. I love when they do ha 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 ha's in rhythm in songs. All right. Well, it's time to find out what's going on with with Amber.
I was like, oh no. What are you doing? Why
Amber.
The Liquid Feet video came out that
it's great. I love it.
We've been asking about a lot.
I love it. It's really funny.
Thank you. Yeah, I can take almost no credit for it. Dave edited it. I was talking about this with Joe on the break. Dave edited it. Why can't I say edit? Edited it. He did the edits. I don't know. And he killed it. It's incredible because
it is. It really is so good.
Because it's footage from 3 very separate places. Mine clearly is lower res than the other 2. But what are you gonna do?
You never hit your mark. You're always walking in the wrong direction.
But he makes it look like a cohesive video, and it was cool.
And there's some fun surprises in it. There's little moments where you think it's going to cut from 1 to 2 to 3, and it goes 1 to 2 to 1, or what? There's just, it's really fun.
Yeah, he did a really good job, and I'm really proud of it. And it was the first Liquid Feet video that we released this year. Which, makes sense because we weren't able to do anything.
You guys were going to do that St. Patrick's Day video and then
right.
a couple of days before that.
But it was dependent on us really breathing on each other too.
Yeah.
And I was able to send it to some relatives and people at work, and it seems like people really enjoyed it and it made them happy, and that's nice. Great. That's a good feeling. Great. I gave them the one smile and the one laugh or whatever.
That's all they need in the course of a day.
But for a slightly darker thing to talk about with checking in is this was a while ago. This was actually a couple weeks ago, but it's something that I'm still thinking about. NBC had I think it was called One Night Only, the Best of Broadway or something along those lines. And it was a bunch of different Broadway performers doing musical numbers outside on the street on Broadway. And then in between it would be sort of Zoom interview, not even interviews, just testimonials from famous people saying how much they love Broadway and how important Broadway has been to them, and Broadway memories and then pleading to donate to Broadway Cares. And it was fun to watch, but at one point they broke down where the money that you would donate to Broadway Cares goes to. And I immediately started sobbing because it wasn't.
You were not getting any of it.
Right. I was like, God damn it. Because
I'm in liquid feet.
it wasn't even for the infrastructure of theater or Broadway in general. They were like, if you donate, people who work on Broadway, performers and backstage, and ticket takers will be given money so they can buy groceries. Like this country is not good at taking.
It's not our job to take care of people. Got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
And today I saw a graphic of what other countries
I know
have paid for living wages.
It's
during
embarrassing.
The pandemic.
It's embarrassing.
It's ridiculous. It's
right.
ridiculous. 600, and they've been haggling for weeks.
But I feel like it's definitely it's getting better, right? Like it's just going to slide through Congress now. I mean, I feel like they're not turning it into a thing of like trying to make the Biden administration look bad or anything. Although who knows at this point if that's even going to happen, because I don't know if you heard, but today they said that Trump was in the White House railing about calling out the army and overturning the election with martial law. So who knows where we'll be a week from now?
And they're at that point where that some of the people around him, they have to they have to almost ignore it. It's like they have to when he starts saying shit like that.
Well, right. except for the ones that are egging him on.
Well, those are the people I'm the most confused about, because like Trump is Trump, fine. Like he's got his fucked up psychology. Who are these people around him that are like,
yeah,
keep going, buddy? Like,
I think it's a very small group of people who sees an opportunity to make a lot of money, and that's what it's all about. Yeah,
but it doesn't make sense.
It is to your point, Amber. It is crazy that things have gotten so bad so quickly for so many people.
And to make a distinction, in this country, we're debating over giving everyone one payment. And in other countries, they have actually subsidized to a percentage, 60, 70, 80%, some 90%, the actual wages that people were making.
Right.
Not just here's a handout of some help. No, we will replace the money that you have not been able to make from your job to an extent enough that you can continue living, and restaurants, businesses can be closed, but those business owners aren't going into severe financial
Right. I mean, it's literally the only way to get out of the pandemic is to pay people to stay at home, and we're so scared as Americans.
Some people take from that the lesson that they can make more money staying home than working a job.
We're so scared of people becoming like magically lazy, and it's
the welfare queens.
It's
which was a myth to begin with.
I know,
a fake thing.
I know. It's just.
I know. I'm talking to Joe.
It's just.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. Jim Jordan all the way.
And I know that I'm like a Pollyanna optimist.
Would you say pie in the sky?
Sure. Give me pie in the sky. But like
or pie in the desert.
It doesn't compute. Like I can't imagine making choices every day knowing that a lot of people will get sick, a lot of people will die, a lot of people will lose their jobs, their houses, they won't be able to afford to eat because I can make more money. Like, I don't understand how you can wake up and look yourself in the mirror. Like,
or even beyond that, not even about me making more money. I am willing to force. I don't know the numbers, and I just heard somebody talking about it the other day. But let's say I am willing to force 5 million people to fall below the poverty line so that my political party can make a point about the new administration that's coming in and fuck them over from day one. We're fucking over this administration. Now, these are innocent bystanders, but those 5 million people, sure, they go into poverty and that's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah, it's
yeah. Welcome to The Long Shot.
Breath.
It's a political podcast about
one laugh, one chuckle. but so
Sean just
maybe
laughed.
A titter.
Sean just laughed.
Thank you. Good night.
Well, and so I'm just gonna share this because I have a job, because I'm not struggling. I'm not a millionaire by not even close by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel a lot of pressure to use the money that I have ethically and to try to help as many people as I can. And I
Thank
can't. I can't
Thanks for
save
sending me money.
No, but I have a limit to the power that I hold.
Is this about you buying us Christmas presents?
Yes. No, but I'm just saying I think good people maybe I'm wrong, but I think good people wherever they land on the spectrum economically, I feel like are feeling a pressure that the bad guys aren't feeling, and it's unfair.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because those people don't care. They don't give a shit.
Right.
It doesn't affect them, so who fucking cares? Yeah, 5 million people will fall below the poverty line. I am not one of them, nor are the people I know. Mm-hmm. So why would I give a second thought to those people?
That have worked so hard their entire lives. This narrative about laziness is just, it's bullshit. It's crazy.
If just to balance things out, since we've mentioned the worst people in the world right now, I just want to shout out, because anytime I see one of those food bank line photos of cars, and everyone, let's shout out the good people. Because I always think of, there are people who are working those food banks, and they are doing everything every day that they can to make sure that there's another box of food there to give to someone who needs it. And it's in my mind, if any of those food bank people ran, I would immediately be interested in, what did you do? I don't care if you've been in politics. Oh, you worked at a food bank through 9 months of the pandemic. I would already be that much more motivated to support them, because that is directly, literally helping people. And that is what a politician should do. So if you've done that, then that's who I would want in office.
I get that working at a food bank is a good qualification. I would also want to know, is that person a counterpuncher? Are they a fighter? Are they a fighter? Are they going to fight? If you hit them, will they hit back 10 times as hard? Because I think that's the most important thing.
Those are the people that work food banks are fighters, but they're not fighters. I think so many people go to Washington who love to argue.
I disagree.
And that's all that it becomes. It becomes the theater of debate.
Well, it's about winning. It's not about helping people. Right. It's about
I think 100% Mitch McConnell's about winning. That's all he cares about, and that's been established since he started in politics. It's not about benefiting anybody. It's about his track record of wins versus losses and using the parliamentary procedures to force, I mean, it's fucking insane. And I'd like to speak to him personally because I have things to say.
But I think that's my checking in.
Well.
It's not this is our Christmas episode, by the way. It's like the darkest we've ever been.
It's a fucking dark time. It really is. There's no getting around it, It's not like we can just be like, hey, I baked some beets. Where's Jamie when we need him, I made pumpkin seeds, popcorn and pumpkin seeds. Yeah. Anything else, Amber?
No, I want to hear about coming back to LA, Sean. I want you to check in.
Okay. So I'm back in LA, and me and Billy Shakes hanging out.
He wrote a whole bunch of sonnets.
I say, forsooth, one laugh, one smile. Yeah, I mean, it was a hard decision because on the one hand, I had a good situation up there. I had a great living situation. I could, like you were saying, Amber, I could work from up there. I was teaching the whole time I was there. And I had friends there that I got to hang out with on a regular basis, which was something I had not done in at least time. 2 weeks before I left, and maybe longer.
You went to all those influencer parties.
Yes. They're right up the hill from me, so I couldn't stay away, It was just a chance to get out and not wear a mask.
It's so weird. Every now and then outside my apartment door, I hear like a group of young people going out, and they're talking loudly and they're laughing. And I'll go to my door and I'll look through my peephole and I see that they're not wearing masks. And that's as close as I've gotten to that thing that's happening, that world of young people who couldn't give a shit. And it's like, just hearing that makes me, I'm like, I can't, I just have to sit and let it go through me because it's so infuriating that, especially because I see them getting into an elevator with no masks on. And everybody in the building uses the elevators. And they have a thing that says you have to wear a mask in the elevator, only 2 people allowed. And I see 4 or 5 of them piling into an elevator, no masks. And I'm just like, that's how this continued transmission is happening. That's how it's happening.
That's why we are where we are.
So how many days have you been back, Sean?
Let's see. It seems like it's been about, 200 days since I've been back. Oh no, it's been 2. I got back on Thursday. Today's Saturday. So I was here all day yesterday. I laid down to take a nap last night at like 8:00 and woke up at 7:00 this morning. So, it was a long fucking drive.
Noise.
Yeah. But like I said,
how long is the drive?
It took me 15 hours or something like that.
And you did it all in one shot?
In one day, wow. Yeah. Both ways. I mean, in other words, I drove up and then drove back. And then when I was driving back, I drove down and then up and then
right.
back.
And then you picked up your suitcase. And then...
Yeah. I forgot a sock. But there is a certain point, I don't know. It's definitely my own issues, but there is a point where it's like, you've been here for a while. These guys have their lives. It's time.
You don't want to be like impose on other. You don't want to be the. Like, what do they say? House guests are like fish. They go bad after 3 days, or I don't know.
Yeah, well, then I was the old man in the sea. I was the shark and the old man in the sea. By the time he gets it back to the shore,
but you don't want to. You don't want to take advantage.
Like, I won. No, you didn't, because the sharks ate your fish, pal.
Sean, you don't want to go from the guy who's staying in the barn to the dead fish who's rotting in the barn.
still tied to the boat, but just bones, nothing left after this incredible battle with the fish.
Like a fish after Heathcliff eats it. Like, you know how Heathcliff
Right, exactly.
How long did you end up staying there?
It was about a month, maybe a little more than a month.
It's a long time to be anywhere. Yeah.
It's a long time. Yeah.
And it was not, they wanted me to stay. It wasn't like
they weren't like, oh, hey.
No, not even that. It wasn't certainly not like that. So when are you going back? What are you thinking?
So,
what are you thinking? Yeah. Like 6 a.m, like, hey, are you still here? Yeah, okay.
We have some ideas for the barn, but
yeah.
Whatever.
Look, we know it's a pandemic, but still.
But it was beyond that. It was like, why are you going back to LA at a time like this when LA is?
That's a fair point.
Yeah. But it just felt like.
And you were like, because I don't like you.
Yeah, right. Because this is fucking bullshit. I'm in a barn with donkeys and horses. What the fuck am I? What am I, a fucking animal?
That's the perfect place to spend Christmas, though. It's like the nativity scene.
Yeah.
They were like,
and on top of that, the night after I left, there was I don't know what planets it is. It's like Jupiter and Mercury are aligned, and it's super bright in the sky, and that supposedly is the star that was the astronomical phenomenon that led to them saying, "Oh, there's a star in the east, and we follow that star." Like that all came.
It is Christmas.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so in Idaho, in that part of Idaho, it is. I don't remember the name. I don't listen to people when they tell me things, but it's some kind of like national dark area where you're supposed to be able to see the sky really well from there because it's like tiny towns with no light pollution.
It's deemed federally dark.
Yeah, it's super federal dark place. And so the night I got back here, I got a text from my friend saying, "You will not believe the stuff we saw in the sky tonight. It was amazing."
And you're like, "Fuck you, man."
God damn it. But so yeah, it was.
All of that said, what made you choose to leave then? If it wasn't the hosts, and it wasn't the great health of the city of Los Angeles, what was it?
It's I think it goes to a dark place. It's my own internal sense of the burden I place upon the world, of like, well, you've been here long enough, time to move on. I'm like the Incredible Hulk, like I'm always like, there's always that sad music and then I'm moving on to the next. Your pants are too short.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they do rip when I eat too much, but I just felt like I had to leave. I don't know how to really put my finger on it. It was like, these guys have been so nice to let me stay here this long, but at a certain point, I'm a fish that's rotting from the head down. Yeah.
Sean, would you say in sooth, you know not why you had to leave?
I don't know what you said.
Because I didn't.
Ask the doll.
You did not emphasize the right words. But of course, one of the reasons I stayed as long as I did was because guess what I had to do before I
Another
left?
Root canal?
I had to go back to the endodontist.
Right.
So he had wanted me to come back in February, and I was like, I ain't going to be here in February. So I went to see him the day before I left, and it was a fucking nightmare again. It was a nightmare.
Is this a dumb question? Why did he want to see you in February? Like, did something need to heal first?
Yeah, it had to. There was an infection. There was a bacterial infection, and he needed to leave some stuff in there for a certain amount of time. I mean, I had to take antibiotics for 10 days after the first one, which was actually the second one, or really the third one, but the first one up there. And then there was some stuff he had put in there in this part of my face to get rid of that bacterial infection. So then when I went back to him,
and typically it would be months that they would want.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think so. But I just couldn't do that. So I went back and he had to, I mean, first of all, again, I had to watch a movie. I don't know if you guys have seen
I can't wait.
8 Crazy Nights. No.
That would be shocking.
When you first said that it was terrible, I just, of course, in my head, I was like, they didn't replay Blindside.
No. He said, he was like, do you want the headphones? And I was like, no.
What's the movie?
No. But in a sense, it was just as bad because they just had a screensaver on. So it was the same pictures over and over again. It was like a picture from inside of a glacier looking at another glacier, like melting. And then a picture of a polar bear looking at its own reflection in the water.
Comforting.
And then a picture of a grizzly bear screaming at a fish. And I identified...
You've been here too long!
Yeah. You're like the fish who... No, you are the fish! But so those pictures kept coming up over and over again. And I thought it was going to be Bing in and out. It was not. It was a long, extended thing where he ended up having to cut into my gum with a cutting thing. I don't know if it was a scalpel or a knife or a laser, whatever it was.
Laser.
It was something, yeah. I don't expect you to talk, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die. And then to close that, he had to, I guess, cauterize it. Like there was like a smoking thing that he stuck in there. So anyway, that was a fucking nightmare. And it smelled like I could smell
like
my
your own
burning flesh.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
It actually smelled good. Like I was like, I'm kind of hungry right now.
Yum.
Yeah. Is that well done? Yes.
Is someone serving fish for dinner?
And it was very painful. That's a dumb question, but
yeah, it was. I was very doped up or whatever with not doped up, but like whatever the numbing stuff was. They shut down like literally my whole face. Like I was like Two-Face, like this side was completely numb and this side was completely feeling. Yeah.
Too reactive.
This was the milk side and this was the sour creams.
I was like trying to smile. Yeah. I was trying to smile at people and just going like, but
you're like that one emoji.
Yeah. And again, there was a moment where he fucking did something and I jumped because it hurt so bad.
Yes,
and he goes, and he just goes, yeah, that's that one spot. And I couldn't say anything because I had all kinds of shit in my mouth, but I wanted to be like, what one spot? What are you talking about? Like, what is the thing that you keep doing? Can you not do that anymore?
Is that the...
Whatever it was, I think. Yeah. And he had to remove it. He had to remove the thing, whatever it was. And
you were fine to like drive the next day? Am I...
No. I was not fine at all. I was very, I realized, the problem was my face was still numb and I had the window open and it was freezing cold out. So I had, frostbite, like just, no. I mean,
icicles.
No, that's why I slept for 11 hours yesterday.
That makes sense. Your body needs to heal.
Yeah. I was just destroyed. But yeah, so I drove back and I drove in the daytime this time. So it was very different from, I don't know if you know this, the day is very different from the night. Nighttime, it gets dark, daytime, light. Although I will say when I was leaving Thursday morning. So I went to bed on Wednesday night. When I woke up Thursday morning, there were 6 inches of fresh snow on the ground.
Oh my God.
So part of me was like, this is not a good idea. Who knows how this could go? But I was already committed. I mean, it takes so long to just pack up the car when you have all the shit that I had up there, most of which I, of course, did not need, but felt like I had to bring anyway. Like, I did not need to bring my desk and my refrigerator because they had those things there. There was no reason.
You brought your desk in your refrigerator?
Well, it's a good desk.
Yes.
You didn't bring your refrigerator.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But I definitely brought stuff that I did not need. But it takes a long time to pack up the car, so I was committed. Yeah. Yes. Which I really wanted to use.
It's finally out. Sean wears a bikini.
They did have a hot tub, which I never used while I was there.
Are you insane?
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to pick up my computer and throw it across the room. That's all I would have been doing.
Do it. And that was the end of the long shot. Amber could not get to the repair shop to get her computer fixed. But I was committed. I was like, I'm doing it anyway. So it's 5:30 in the morning, pitch dark, 6 inches of snow on the ground. They don't live on a main street. It's fucking Idaho. They're in the middle of nowhere. So I'm driving across to get to the main road, and there had been a couple cars that had gone by. So there was definitely a track. It was not plowed. So I'm trying to stay in the tire tracks of the people who've driven the same way before me. And I get to the main road, and there's a truck right in front of me turning left across traffic. I want to turn right. So I'm like, oh, I'll just go around this guy. I turn up to go make a right, and boom, I'm stuck in the snow immediately. Like 4 minutes from the house, I'm stuck in a fucking
the world
snowbank.
keeps being like, don't go.
Yeah, right.
There's
So
medical reasons. There's weather reasons.
What's hilarious about it too, and this is so insane, but I knew it was insane, but I couldn't help myself, is I'm like rocking in the seat to try to get the car out of the snowbank. That's not going to make any difference, you know? And so finally I'm like,
I have no idea. I don't know what makes a difference.
So I'm back. Well, there's only the wheels only turn in the back of the car, not the front of the car. Like it only turns the back wheels, not there's real whatever. So I'm like backing up. Yeah, it's not 4-wheel drive. And so I'm backing up, going forward, stuck again, backing up. And the problem is when I go forward, I'm jamming the accelerator and there's traffic coming both ways. So even if I get out, I was literally sitting there going like, I should not be doing this, because if I get out of the snowbank, I might hit the road and shoot across 2 lanes of traffic.
Because you're like gunning it, trying to.
Yes.
But it sounds like you survived.
Finally, Well, unfortunately, I recorded this entire thing ahead of time to let you guys know.
You are a ghost.
Yes. Sooth.
Jamie's going to be very pleased.
Ghosty ghost. I am a ghost, a ghosty ghost, just looking for a laugh or a smile.
Did you guys see that somebody reposted the ghosty ghost poem?
Frank did that. Frank Pulaski.
Yes.
Yeah. The ghosty ghost. That was it's funny because I looked at that and I was like, holy shit, that was a very early episode.
That was like year 1, yeah.
With a special guest who was a fan of the show at that time, which was Mary Holland.
Whoa.
Who has gone on
like a star. Yeah.
Huge. I mean, she has the most popular, she wrote and is in the most popular movie on Netflix this Christmas, you know?
Hulu.
You're welcome, Mary. Whatever, one of those fucking, I think it's on Peacock, actually.
No, it's on Hulu. I know Peacock.
It might be on Pluto TV.
It is not. It's on Hulu.
Is it on Amazon? Is it Roku?
Why won't you give me this?
Speaking of former guests that have blown up, I went to our Long Shot Podcast account on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I just to see, because that stopped around like 2018.
What a disaster.
And I started scrolling through it. And Sean, I think around, maybe it was many years ago, but I scrolled down far enough that I saw that there was a post from you with Bill Burr's Twitter handle. You were just asking Bill Burr if he would come back on the show.
That's how you do that, right? That's how you get people?
Yeah, that's how a lot of
it works sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's funny because I had an exchange this morning on Twitter with guy by the name of Brian Koppelman, who I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he wrote the movie Rounders, and then he created the show Billions. And he was talking about how in 2013, he had an agent who said to him, "You're just not right for this business. There's nothing I can do for you, whatever." And so I wrote back to him and said, and I knew that he had created Billions. So, I just was like, what was your emotional and spiritual reaction? Or like, what did you say to that? And he was like, I took a deep breath and we just started writing the next thing. So I wrote back to that and said, I said, like, that's awesome. I hope that worked out for you, like as a joke. And so he then wrote back to me and was like, actually, the next thing we did was we created Billions. And I was like, yeah, I know. I guess sarcasm doesn't work on the internet.
It's tough. Tone doesn't come through.
Yeah. But he was very gracious. I thought it was very nice of him to respond to that, But anyway, so I drove, just all fucking day. And the first what's so crazy about a 15-hour drive is you drive for 4 hours and you realize you are just getting started.
Yeah, you're not even close to half.
Right. So the first, I would say 4 hours, I was driving on this 1-lane road, 1 lane in each direction, in a fucking snowstorm.
What are you doing?
Tons of traffic coming the other way. So I was just desperately trying to follow the tail lights of the car in front of me. But when a bunch of traffic comes the other way, you just get completely blinded. And I was like, I am going to fucking drive off the road. This is insane. But made it through that, made it down, and then took some weird way back and ended up in a place called the Chowfant Valley, which I think is in California, although I have not. It's been 2 days and I still haven't looked it up. But it was very cool because it was still a 1-lane road in each direction, but there were giant mountains on both sides. So it was like this cool, I don't know, it was a very interesting place to drive through. I also drove through the Mojave Desert in Nevada. Is it Nevada? How do you anyway, sour cream. I drove through sour cream and that was funny because there's just nothing. There's like, I drove through that in the dark and I was like, it feels like there's nothing to see here. Then I drove through in the daytime and I was like, oh yeah, that's because there is nothing. There's nothing. There are no towns, no people, nothing. So I was looking in every direction, nothing to be seen for miles and miles and miles. And then I looked down and my speedometer was at 100. And I was like, oh, that's probably not a good idea.
Right.
But you just lose the concept of anything, So yeah, anyway. And then a couple times I was like, I'm running out of gas and there's nothing around.
Ugh, that's scary.
Oh, then
terrifying.
I saw a little sign that was like, the gas pump on it. And I was like, oh, there's going to be gas in the next town. So I pulled over and it's just a tiny fucking town in the middle of the Mojave Desert, probably 50 structures. All of them ramshackle, dilapidated. I found, 3 streets going back from the highway. I found the gas station. Of course, it had probably closed permanently in like 1975. So then I had to drive through the town, past the stray dogs, back onto the highway.
This is how horror movies.
It really felt like a horror movie. Like I definitely got that vibe. And then there was a couple more towns like that, each of which was basically, I don't know this for a fact, but it definitely felt like they were built around the bordello in town. Like that was the big attraction because it would say like, Wildcat Ranch, truckers welcome,
I bet you
and apparently, as it turned out, I did not have to be a trucker. I was also welcome. So
I think some of those are like mining towns, I think,
maybe
where there was just one one thing in one industry.
So anyway,
we're happy you got back safe, Sean.
And thank you. And I will say, as much as I hated to leave, and I didn't want to, but I felt like I should, and I kind of wanted to, and then I got back here, and first of all, walking in to my house, the first thing that happened was I walked into the kitchen and threw a cobweb, and I was like, oh, okay, there's been occupants since I've been gone.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, like I literally walked through and was like, you know. But it also smelled like nobody had been here in a month. Like it's not bad or good, but it's just like you could tell the air has not circulated in a month, you know. But there was a part of me that was like, I am glad to be back in my own space. You know, there's something about that.
Well, you got your Shakespeare doll, buddy. You're
right.
Reunited.
Yeah. And it feels so sooth.
Can we see it? Can I just see it again real quick? Is it right there?
I think the spider got it. I don't know where it went. No, it's right here.
I just think you look really cute when you're holding it.
He's so shocked or something. Something about his eyes.
Yeah.
It's called Brainy Beanies. William Shakespeare, the Bard of Avon, is the world's best poet. If you've read his work, then you already know it. Mm-hmm. Please remove all tags before giving to any child or intellectual. So as you can see, I still have the tag on, which means I am neither of those things. All right. Well, I don't really have anything else. I talked about my endodontist experience. My only other thing is I was up early this morning to go to the post office because I have still not received several checks that I am missing. And I told you guys about how the mailboxes were robbed back a few weeks ago. And I don't mean like a couple $100. I mean thousands of dollars. And it's Christmas time. I wanted to get something for the nieces and nephews. And that's just not going to happen. I'm hoping that when I send stuff late, I can be like, this is so that Christmas continues through the new year because we're in a weird time. I mean, you know, I'm sure they won't care. I think they'll be
delighted.
Yeah, they won't care, but it's still fucking annoying and scary.
My same thing. My mom, Sean, is waiting on like 3 checks. And at this
it's a stressful thing because you're like, where the fuck are they? Did they get stolen? Did they get saved in the mail? Did they get sent to Idaho? Where are they?
And right now, it seems like the general impression people have is that just the mail right now is very slow. So you just don't know if it's that, and you just got to wait it out. And my mom is like every day on our call, she's like, it didn't come today. And I'm like, don't, and you just have to be the person that's
and you're like, shh, I'm singing the novena, Mom.
It'll come.
Not my tempo.
Let's pick it up a bit, a little faster every time.
I whiplashed my mom and my aunt.
All right. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to take a quick break, and then we can do parting shots.
Sounds great.
Shots.
The Long Shot is not just about entertaining, it's also about informing. So here's something we thought you should know. The average person, over the course of their lifetime, uses over 7,000 toothbrushes.
We're back. You're listening to The Long Shot. It is time for a segment on the show that we like to call Parting Shots. You don't know who this is? How could you possibly know who this is? I'll give you a hint. Are you ready?
Is it Freud?
No. Okay, so I'm going to do an impression of this guy, and then you can guess, and then I'll give you an even better hint. Here's my impression of him. Wait, let me think for a second. What was that movie that Schwarzenegger did that then they made it with the Irish guy again? Total Recall. Yeah. Okay. This is my impression of this guy. He would say something like, I am very much a fan of the movie Total Recall because one of my countrymen was the director of the first version of that. Okay, that's the first thing.
But they probably weren't contemporaries.
No, not contemporaries.
Okay.
Just from the same place.
Okay. Lars Van Trier, right?
No.
He's the director.
Paul Verhoeven.
That's who I meant. Damn it.
Right. Paul
I'm
Verhoeven
gonna throw my computer again.
But Sean is saying that this guy would be a friend of Paul Verhoeven.
No.
I'm saying a
Same
countryman.
country,
Oh, same
Friends,
country.
I mean, friends, Romans, countrymen, those are all different
but
things.
they're not Roman.
I see.
They are.
Sooth. No, this is my other hint.
I like. Okay. Oh. I know who it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it too. Yeah. Okay.
It's Van Gogh.
Vincent van Gogh.
Van Gogh is pissed. Shakespeare's still shocked.
Mm-hmm. But can I tell you just so you hear the funny story?
Cut off your ear? You cut off Shakespeare's like, you cut off your ear?
Well, I certainly did, because I am about to die in poverty despite my talent. Being an artist is a hard road, and sometimes you need to take advantage of Broadway cares because you can't get yourself some groceries like the things I like to eat, like Gouda cheese.
But he looks more pissed than that. Like he's like, I don't even like my ear. Like he looks.
So back in the late 90s and early 2000s.
We're just committing to this framing.
No, I'll get rid of them. But there was a bunch of comics in New York, and I was on a email list with them.
Yes, we've heard about this.
Yeah. And we had a couple of years where we had Secret Santas for the whole list.
Cute.
And we had parties where you would go and somebody would be your Secret Santa and they would give you your thing. So one year, my friend John Corbett got me Shakespeare. Now there's like 30 comics on the list. And I think what it was you got your gift and you had to guess who had given it to you.
Oof,
right?
That's dangerous.
So my first year, John got me Shakespeare. The second year, my gift was Van Gogh. And he had gotten me again the second year in a row. Like, It was just a weird, anyway, who cares? But
Wait, so
I felt like it was,
you didn't guess correctly twice.
I guessed incorrectly twice is a different way of saying that, but yes. Right. But it was the same guy both times. Okay.
You say tea time, I say tea time.
Bingo. I used the word I used the word ignominy last night in conversation with my parents, and my dad told me that I was pronouncing it incorrectly. And I said, it doesn't matter how I pronounce it because I would never say it to anybody but you, nor would those people know to correct the way I was pronouncing it.
What does it mean? And how are you supposed to say it?
I don't
know either of those things.
It's ignominy.
Ignominy.
Yeah.
It's ignominy.
Ignominy. See ignominy. I did have a science teacher in 7th grade. I'm sure I've said this before, but I had a science teacher in 7th grade who taught us about sea anemones, and I just thought that was the funniest fucking thing.
It's Amber. It's public shame or disgrace.
Oof. Were you talking about the president?
No, I was talking about my oral surgery.
Oh.
Okay. It's time for a segment that we like to call Parting Shots. Let's start today with Joe. Parting shots, Joe. Joe.
Okay. My first parting shot is a quick question to you, Sean.
Do you have a nugget?
Do you have any boba?
Boba, let's say you're going to a boba shop. You're in a boba shop and your boba, you're like, here's a boba. What does the boba say to you? What? Go ahead,
Sean,
Joe. What's the question?
Sean, my quick question is, just from what we know of the first time you went to the endodontist.
Yeah.
Would you at least say, with some perspective, that the screensaver was not as bad as Blindside?
Yes, I would agree with that. It was being like seeing a grizzly bear screaming every 15 seconds was difficult, but not as difficult as being sad because people called this guy Big Mike. Big Michael or whatever.
Yeah, because Big Mike.
I don't like it. I don't like it when people call me.
Do you have any more follow-up? Like, do you have to do any more appointments?
We'll see. I mean, I hope not.
Knock on wood.
This is what he said to me. He goes, it's going to be sore for a couple of days, but then you're going to live happily ever after. And I was like,
Well, I tried to say that's a very sweeping prediction, but it came out
You
more
don't know me very well.
I would say, by the way, I don't think anyone needs to be saying you're going to live happily ever after.
Yeah, it was a weird thing for him to say.
Yeah.
I think he did not realize what a giant thing he was saying. Like he only sees the world in terms of the surgeries he performs.
Right.
He was like, he could have just said, you will never have a problem with this tooth again.
Right.
But instead he said, you will live happily ever after.
You will be fulfilled in your career, in your personal life.
All your dreams will come true.
And then Sean was like, I'm driving back to Los Angeles tomorrow. Ooh.
He's like, ooh, could
I have another patient. Excuse me.
Okay, so real quick parting shot.
Mhm.
I would like to present the foam that I use.
Oh, it looks like florist foam.
Exactly. It's just, it's not hard. It's it's pliable foam.
What inspired this concoction you came up with?
I think it's because in my mind, and granted, I do wrap it up in another piece of fabric and then it goes like that. But I think in my mind, because this is a solid thing, I mean, it feels more solid to me. This that it feels like it's just more of a barrier for
I mean,
so that things can't pass.
For sure. But
Anyway,
I understand that logic. That makes sense to me.
it's because it's
I guess
thick. I think
I know, I get it. I understand.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, how did you wake up one day and say, I'm going to wear 2 surgical masks, a different other mask, a sponge, a foam, a bandana?
Amber, the simple answer to that was looking at the LA Department of Health daily statistics. That was.
But what got you to the point where you were like, I have 11 masks on, but is there any foam around my apartment that I can throw on?
Fear and paranoia did that.
So what if you had not had that piece of foam?
I probably would have done it in probably another 2 layers.
Like you didn't go out and buy that foam. It just happened to be in your apartment.
No, if you wanted to say that I'm a resourceful, clever person, then
no.
I want you to say that.
No.
Yeah.
Can you say it again?
No, I saw this. I saw this, and I thought, if I put this over my mouth and nose, that's one more layer of protection.
So that's different from what I'm saying. What you're saying is you had 11 masks on, and you were like, I'm going to go to the hello foam. I think I'm going to throw this on too. Versus going, this feels inadequate. What else can I? The chair? No. Let's see. The remote? No. How about this piece of foam? Yes.
Sean, I didn't start off with 11 masks. I just had a couple masks.
No one thinks you did.
Sean was.
But thank you for clarifying, nevertheless.
I know Sean was exaggerating, but Sean, it wasn't that I had a certain amount of protection and thought that I needed one more thing. I just thought I want to feel as protected as I can, and the fabric in my mind, I just didn't feel that I think, and you know what it was? Reading a couple instances or posts online from people that said I was masked and I just tested positive, because that's happened too.
But I would say, like, not that I want you to be any less careful. Continue to be careful. I'd rather you err on the side of caution. But I bet you those people who were wearing masks who got COVID were around other human beings on a regular basis, and you are being so cautious. Like I don't think.
I would also guarantee you that none of those motherfuckers had a giant chunk of foam across their face.
And that's why I'm not going to get sick. I know it seems crazy, but for me, it works, and it makes me feel safer.
Not only are you not going to get sick, but you could easily be packed in a box and sent somewhere with no damage.
Someone just punch you, and you wouldn't even feel it.
At this point, I wouldn't mind. I would like to end my, I have two more quick parting shots. One of them is a positive thing. A few months ago, I signed up for a rent assistance program from the city. It was a lottery system. I didn't get picked in the first round, and I thought that was it. Turned out that my name was still in the pool. I got an email that I had been selected. I went through the process. I got everything in. I couldn't believe it. I actually did it. It went to my landlord. The next part of the process, it went to the landlord. They contacted him, and I just got the email this week that said that everything has gone through, and my landlord will be paid $2,000 from the city.
Amazing.
Which is something. So
it's a drop in the bucket, but it's better than nothing.
And I just felt so much better from my landlord. And I have it's just a guy. It's not a management firm. So thankfully, he and I have just a personal relationship as far as landlord and tenant. He's been very, very patient, very understanding. And I just felt really good that at least the guy that's been incredibly gracious and nice to me got a little money. So that's worked out. And anything related to the city and in terms of filling out stuff, you guys know it's one of my nightmares that I'm going to fuck something up. It's not going to go through. And I just got the email yesterday that said everything is in process.
Oh, that's great.
Will be paid. So that felt great. And then the last thing I'm just going to say real quick is, another quick thing is that when I was scrolling on our Twitter account, I scrolled down so far that I got to a description of an episode where it was like Amber this, Jamie that. Remember how, and then it says Joe believes in ghosts. So as far as staying consistent, Amber, in the podcast, it turns out I guess I am a ghost believer.
You're a ghost truth.
So science has no impact on your belief system.
No, I believe science. Science is right next to my belief in ghosts. So, because I think a ghost could be a scientist.
Oh, that'd be cool.
A scientist, right?
Honestly, Ghostbusters, they were all scientists.
Correct. And then
there is no such thing as ghosts. I don't believe in them. I'm sorry to tell you, they do not exist.
You're just an artist.
In sooth, Hamlet's father was a ghost when he set forth.
I gotta get my last parting shot out before Sean does his Punch and Judy show. So this blew my mind. The other day, I'm watching a YouTube video. An ad comes on, of course, before, and it's an ad for kitty litter. And I took a screenshot, and I'm going to share it now. It's an ad for kitty litter, and Amber just saw a sneak preview of this, but I just want to show everyone that maybe it's not so crazy that there was a cat lady in downtown 100 years ago, because that is a screenshot from this ad where it's a Western ad, town full of cats. And for anyone who did not see the photo of the woman in downtown from 100 years ago, this is pretty much what it looks like if she were a cowboy. So I don't know. Maybe
see, again, I'm going to say it's weird. It's a weird coincidence, but that they had a similar lighting anomaly in the kitty litter commercial that led to a person.
That's a person?
Led to a person looking like a cat. I know that's a weird coincidence, but
Sean is such a humanoid cat skeptic. It's
I just don't think they exist. There are not people walking around with cat heads. Sorry.
It's such like a long and lean cat. It's so strange looking.
Anyway,
they might have stolen the body from Don Cheadle in Boogie Nights.
Anyway, I thought Cat Cowboy would make a great partner for.
It's a great improv team name, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's my parting shot, and I'm sticking with it.
Great. Amber, parting shots.
Yeah, I have only 3 more working days left in the year. I have to work through Wednesday, and then I have some time off, and that is very exciting. It's, I feel like it's even better than any vacation time off, because when you go on vacation, when you come back, you're expected to sort of make up all of the work from that week. And on holiday break, everybody's out. So like it's like a true break. It's a true and I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm going crazy a little bit. I'm the only one. It's been a hard year just for me. I'm alone in this. And
Hey, Amber,
Uh-huh.
because of the pandemic and just specific to Hollywood production, you still mainly deal with animation.
yeah, we've been. It really didn't stop anything for us.
And if anything, there's actually been an animation boom since the pandemic because that is one of.
Well,
I
animation.
wish I knew something about animation so I could get a job there. Not there, but in animation.
Right.
You know?
Animation takes a really long time. So it's not like anything additionally was greenlit. It just means that the productions that are in production are chugging along, and in the universal slate, there's a larger percentage of animated films to live action that can be finished. So that will be like, I predict in 2021, you're gonna see some animation, baby. That's all you're gonna see.
Hey, I watched 5 minutes of an episode of Boss Baby.
Oh, great!
A friend who wrote that. It was his first writing job.
Oh, exciting!
Yeah,
it's a fun show. Funny. Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, Boss Baby is fun. Plug for Boss Baby.
Boss Baby back in business. That's the name of the show. But I also wanted to shout out my good friend Abby. You guys know Abby. It like actually blew me away because she's like, I have something I want to drop off for you. Are you home? And it was like,
so she doesn't understand about the pandemic at this point, right?
No. I mean, she literally was like dropping it off, like.
Have you been to your house recently? Because if not, I'm not going to drop it off.
Are you in the office right now?
Yeah.
It was a reusable shopping bag, and she's like, she created a winter solstice advent calendar for me. And I was like, what? And I looked inside the reusable shopping bag, and inside of it was a bunch of just like brown paper bags with dates on them. And she's like, she gave this to me on the 9th. It starts tomorrow. And so the first, in order of the bags, the first one just says the 10th on it. And it goes all the way till, I think the 21st is when actual winter solstice is. And every day there's just like a new thing. Like some days it's just a poem she liked. Other days it'll be a lotto card. One day it was a face mask. And it is like the sweetest, most thoughtful. Like there was so much work that was put into this. It like blew me away, and it made me feel very loved and seen, and also kind of bad that I have not done anything even nearly as thoughtful for anyone at all, ever. But it was very, very sweet, and it still continues. I have 2 more days.
Right.
Yeah. I wonder what's going to be in tomorrow's.
Hey, will you, just because I'm curious, but you can show it next show, but can you show it to us eventually?
I can show it to you right now. I'm near. This is the bag. Like, that's what she was like. It's very low tech. This is the actual bag. Okay. And then inside of it are paper bags. Like, this is for tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
It looks like it might be a liverwurst sandwich. I'm just
right. And I haven't opened that one yet because I'm trying to like enjoy the advent calendar of it all. But like today, it was a scratch off lotto ticket. I didn't win anything, and Jeff was making me laugh. He was like, "Abby,
waste of time."
And that was the other parting shot I wanted to have. So we're moving soon, and the other joke that we keep doing, it's for no one, it's just for each other, is like pretending like we need to research our new neighborhood, like act like I wonder what restaurants they have and stuff. Like that's a fun bit that we keep doing. Anyway, that is my parting shots.
I like it.
I like it. I just have to point out that in the chat, Aaron just wrote winter solstice advent calendar, which seems appropriate. So that's good. Okay, so parting shots. I mean, look, shit's fucked up right now, and we talked about it. We talked a little about how actually you never have control over what's happening. It's just pointed out more now. I hesitate to get into this kind of shit because it feels like I am trying to be something I'm not, and I really am not doing that. I don't even know what I am, so how could I? All right, but
it might be something you are, Sean.
Right, it could be something I am. I read a thing that really resonated with me the other day because it was about how to get through these next few months as we're waiting for the vaccine and as so many people are dying and we're confronted with that every night in a mind-numbing way of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people dying every week and how that can be overwhelming. And also I mean, I think this applies to everybody, but Joe lives by himself. I live by myself. It's very easy in that situation to sort of retreat and isolate in a way. And, I think that's true for people who live with other people as well in a different way. And the thing I read was that is not the thing you should be doing. Like, reach out to people and connect with other people and share the way you're feeling and what you are going through and let them share what they are going through because everybody's going through it. So it is because we're all we have. You know what I mean? There's nothing else. And I say that knowing full well, that's not necessarily a positive thing that I'm saying about this podcast. We're all we have, but I guess I'm just saying, like, reach out. People should reach out, and
it's like we were talking about early in the show. We're all we have, but we have it, we're all we have. If you just look at that, then you could go to a sad, dark place. You have to focus on the fact that we do have something. We have something. We have each other. We have our friendship. We have our communication and personal connection with people. And, the guy that I've been working with is an old college friend of mine who we would stay in contact, but our lives had diverged. And because of both corporate mergers and the pandemic, he got laid off after 12 years of working he worked at Warner Brothers Archives, and he had worked there for 12 years. And the Monday that we first met to start working on this was the first Monday after 12 years of having a job.
Wow.
And I just felt what you're talking about, Sean, is like, I just felt with my old college friend who I've known since I was 18 years old. I just felt that, thank goodness that we're both creative and we both, we know what we can do with this idea. And just that was bringing us together in a new way that we've never had before. But we have 30 years of friendship. And so half the time we're trying to brainstorm and half the time
you've been out of college 30 years. Jesus Christ.
Half the time we're brainstorming and half the time we're just catching up and renewing our friendship. And it's, it's just a Facebook call every day, but it's like you said, Sean, it's just been anybody out there, if you're feeling alone, try
call Joe on
out.
Facebook.
Try to find that. Try to find that because it will get you through.
Yeah. So that's all I wanted to say. And that
I really do feel like in a time like this, meeting with you guys every week is becomes important in a way that maybe it wasn't so important before. Jamie, comes and goes, but be that as it may. And so what
in spirit.
What I really hope, all kidding aside, I just really want to use these occasions for one smile, one laugh. That's it. That's all I have to say. All right, folks, this has been The Long Shot. Thank you guys so much for listening and for watching, whatever the case may be. Maybe throw us a review on iTunes. We talked about that every week, but we lost everything in the, well, I don't know what we lost it in, but we lost it all. So give us a review.
All our reviews have been 5 stars so far, by the way. So we're doing great. Feel
free to not give us 5 stars, but if that's how the mood strikes you, feel free to give us that. We appreciate it. And don't follow us on Twitter because we haven't touched that in a number of years. So
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
That's right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I will unabashedly say I am tired of people. The war on Christmas. I am going to say Merry Christmas. I don't give a fuck. I'll say it. I don't care.
So brave.
Yeah. Christmas.
Sean Conroy.
I want to say Merry Christmas.
He's so mad. Merry Christmas.
Sooth.
Sooth.
All right.
Bye, guys.